early for Coach Brownell.
Lee Cassell, AJ Desai, Adam Flore are officials, and we are underway. Clemson controls the tip in the home white. North Alabama in the road black. And immediately picked off on the entry pass. Here comes Cannon Jefferson running the point for North Alabama.
This is a big lineup on the floor for Clemson with 3 guys over 6'10".
And for North Alabama, while they don't have that type of size, they do have a handful of guys between 6'6" and 6'8", as that 3 goes down for Kevin Dekovicic.
Well, one of the strengths of Clemson early is that they have 8 guys that average between 6 and 12 points. So when Brad Brownell says it's by team and by committee, that's exactly what it's been early on.
A little bit of a change in the starting lineup tonight for Brad Brownell. Buckner in, Welling in, and coming off the bench tonight will be Porter and Godfrey.
I think one of the numbers you look for are points in the paint for Clemson with that size and with their post-up ability, but also all 3 bigs can shoot the 3.
Dante Bacchus, preseason all-conference player, 1 of 2 on the roster. Dekovicic. Davidson tapped it. Welling corrals.
So 2 possessions for North Alabama, and Clemson doubles the block both times. So you know the double team is coming.
There's Dylan Hunter, the lone returner for Clemson this year who had any playing experience last season, as Buckner rims out a 3.
Now that would make him 1 for 13, and I'd rather see him make that 3 out of a play off the 2 feet in the paint or a kick out from the perimeter to the perimeter.
Dallas Howell off the back iron. Rebound Wallin.
Very good, skilled bigs for Brad Brownell.
That's a nice effort down low by Welling, last year's WAC Defensive Player of the Year at Utah Valley. Well, you mentioned it earlier today to me at Shoot Around. You can't remember a time under Brad Brownell's tenure that Clemson has had this many skilled bigs.
He's always had good skilled bigs, right? From P.J. Hall, and Chase Hunter at the point, who he played with him for 6 years, was his point guard, who understood how to get the ball inside. But these 3 guys can really shoot it. And so that changes the space on the floor with some pick and pop action.
Dekovicic with a chance at an and 1.
This is a very strong identity of North Alabama. It is getting to the free throw line, driving it to the paint. And one of the ways they can neutralize some of the size for Clemson is using their speed on the perimeter to try to get Clemson in some closeouts, just like that, so they can go off the bounce.
That was the one thing that Brad Brownell pointed to in the loss to Georgetown. All the fouls, and particularly in the second half. Georgetown was plus 11 in free throw attempts in DC on Saturday.
Well, when you win 27 games last year and you win 18 in the ACC, you're doing something really right with your habits. And that's where Clemson was last year, and that's where you expect them to be again this year. Picked 7th in the league. And in a very improved ACC.
I've yet to see the leading scorer, Cornelius Williams, touch the ball. Here he is on the low block. Doubled immediately. Dekovicic. And the rebound, Godfrey. Back at Clemson after a year at Georgia. Porter will get 2 shots.
Porter just puts it in another gear in transition, and when you see the defender backpedaling, you go right at their hip, and that's exactly what he did to get to the line.
Well, this North Alabama team returns 10 players from last year. However, only one of them started. That was Williams. Bacchus was their sixth man, and he's off the mark with a wild spinner. So they too, like Clemson, still trying to figure themselves out a little bit. Wallin a three. Welcome those of you joining us on ACC Network after a thriller in Raleigh. NC State with a win over VCU. Matt Schumacher, the Hall of Famer, Debbie Antonelli with you. Clemson back home after a loss to Georgetown and taking on a stout North Alabama team, Debbie, who was picked to win their league this year.
This is a North Alabama team that is good off the bounce, that likes to get to the free throw line, will look to attack closeouts, and is a really good offensive rebounding team. And Clemson has been pounding it in the paint early, doing a nice job of establishing their front line.
RJ Godfrey, back after a season at Georgia, was part of their Elite Eight run at Clemson 2 years ago, coming off the bench. Backdoor feed to Jefferson. There's Bacchus, one of two preseason all-conference players for North Alabama. Wallin the rebound.
Porter, a transfer with the ball, number 1 in white. Very high volume scorer from Middle Tennessee, but also good distributor.
And Zac Foster, his fifth made three of the season.
4-star freshman out of the Atlanta area. You got high hopes for him. I mean, he is an athletic, long perimeter player.
Clemson Tigers have hit 5 out of the last 7 shots, largest lead of the game at 8. Foster tagged with a foul, and we will take the break with him. Back from Little John Coliseum after this.
Getting the basketball, outletted up the floor so they can quickly get into their transition. He's got depth, he's got talent, and this is by committee, and he continues to preach that about his team. He's got 8 guys that average between 12 and 6 points. So they've got some balance, they've got some versatility, and they've got some interchangeable size inside out.
Most roster turnover in his 16-season tenure at Clemson. Meanwhile, North Alabama going to the bench for the first time tonight. Here's Washington. The Kovacic has got to go. 2 on the timer. Hit his first 3. He's 0 for 3 since. Here comes Foster. Spin cycle. What a feed. Thompson rejected on a beautiful block by Graham Howard. Not a great three-point shooting team, no. Debbie, and yet they've launched a handful early.
You got to play inside out, force Clemson into some closeouts, and then try to drive it. This is a very good team, free throw rate-wise, that gets to the line about 1/4 of their possessions.
Porter fouled and the bucket. Then he is headed back to the free throw line.
Justin Porter is physically strong and knows how to use his leverage to the bucket. You can't knock him off his line. Look at the focus and the concentration on the finish. And he's got that explosive first step as well.
All-Conference USA last year, led Middle Tennessee State in minutes, scoring, and three-point field goals. But tonight, he's been thinking one thing, and that's get downhill. Cornelius Williams, their leading scorer, averaging a double-double, has yet to take a shot attempt tonight. Where's number 2 in black? The Kovacic rejected by Thompson. Shot clock did not reset. 2 to go. Bacchus the offensive rebound.
Oh, nice feed. Beautifully done.
There is Williams right on cue.
And that's his shot chart. 66% in the paint. He has not taken a shot outside the paint all season, Williams.
Godfrey, meanwhile, 3 for 3, and all of his shots have come right around the rim.
Yeah, Clemson taking advantage of their size, their depth on their front line, and they're getting points in the paint quite easily against this North Alabama defense. They've got 14 of their 19 in the paint.
Late in the timer again. Catch and shoot Bacchus. They're now 1 for 8 from 3. Bacchus off the offensive rebound lays it in.
That's back-to-back baskets off their offensive rebounding. That's part of their identity as well. Clemson doing a good job defending the first shot. They got to defend the glass.
Dylan Hunter tries a 3. Tapped around to Thompson. Godfrey wide open lane in the two-hand jam.
R.J. Godfrey, 230 pounds. Looks like one muscle out there.
That's called get out of the way. Already 8 points for Godfrey, who did not start tonight. Part of a little starting 5 shake-up by Brad Brownell, but he got him into the game quickly, and he has delivered.
Well, he doesn't want R.J. in early foul trouble.
Porter had it stripped by Tank Washington.
10 years overall as a head coach, most wins in program history. Yes, and he's an excellent teacher. And I'm one that around the ACC for as long as I've been around on the men's side as well as the women's, you run into just good people and good dudes. And that would be how I define Brad Brownell. And he is an excellent teacher. And I think that's one of the greatest compliments you actually can give a coach.
Well, he does come from a basketball playing state.
Yeah,
something you know a whole lot about.
D3 at DePaul.
From Southern Indiana.
You know he was a shooter.
Oh, yeah. He got him up. Just like North Alabama's been doing in this game. And they are now 1 for 10 from downtown.
10 of their 17 shots are threes.
And that has not been their game this year. When they've been successful, they've been getting downhill and getting to the free throw line.
Well, Clemson's doing a really good job of making them play outside the paint. They're forcing those shots, and right now Clemson's dictating those shots for North Alabama.
Oh, great zip. And that was rejected underneath.
Good hustle.
And now North Alabama on the break. Jefferson coughed it up. 3-on-2. Buckner with a full head of steam.
Back-to-back hustle plays by Dallas Howell. The dive on the floor to keep possession, and then he saves it off a Clemson player on the baseline.
Well, Tony Pujols is no stranger to upsets. A handful of years ago, they beat their first SEC program ever, going on the road and taking down Ole Miss. That was in December of 2022. Had Mississippi State on the ropes in their opener. 9-point lead at the under-16 timeout.
Good D by Clemson again. These are the kind of habits that Coach Brownell is looking for, right? Force a tough 2. Everything is contested right now by Clemson's defense.
Here's a 3 from Thomas. Knocks it in.
6'9" freshman. Long and athletic.
Another 4-star brought in by Brad Brownell.
I think he's going to get some significant minutes. Like, this freshman class for Coach Brownell is excellent.
Jefferson through the bump, floats it in. Playing in a bigger role this season after he's come off the bench each of the last 2 years. That seems to be a theme for Tony Pujols' team this year. Guys stepping up into bigger roles. Buckner short. Welling fighting for the rebound, and it's on the floor against North Alabama. Jamal Albritton is first.
Stepping catch. Catch and shoot. Beautifully done. Good footwork, feet under his shoulders. That's just his third triple of the season.
Catch and shoot, Porter. That's a shot they'd like seeing him take, though.
Well, he's coming off some pin down action, and he's got excellent footwork.
He was a volume shooter and scorer last year at Middle Tennessee. Deep three, Jefferson, no. Davidson fighting for the rebound.
And Clemson really doing a good job protecting inside out.
Foster a three, got it. His second. Tigers now 3 for 9 from distance. Off Albritton and an over and back. We'll give it back to Clemson when we return. All Tigers right now in the first half.
Big picture. I mean, it's more than just ball screen offense and pick and roll defense. You know, it's the whole package.
Sent a couple of those guys on that screen to the NBA, still playing in the league right now. PJ Hall, of course, Tyson Hunter. After the offensive rebound, catch and shoot, Porter off the mark.
Well, I just look at the way he develops point guards as well. I mean, right now, Ace Buckner and Dylan Hunter are combined 5-to-1 assist turnover ratio in the early part of the season. They've made really good decisions.
Well, turnovers have been an issue this year for North Alabama. That's their 4th of the first half. They have a negative assist to turnover ratio so far.
They were -3 coming into the game on the season. And they're not shooting the three well. They're not in any sort of rhythm. And part of that is because Coach Pujol has been playing his starters over 30 minutes. He told us he had to get the other guys in. They're showing a 1-3-1 here when he gets some of his starters back in. Trying to get, you know, build habits as well with his team to get ready for their conference. So 1-3-1's a good change defensively here.
Good float by Godfrey off the mark, Welling. But the look was there.
The other thing is because they haven't been able to get stops, Clemson's only missed 9 shots so far in the game. They haven't been able to get anything easy in transition either. They're forced to play against a set defense by Clemson, which is very good.
Kadar Bodie zips it inside. Bach has had it blocked by Welling. Here's Foster through contact. Thomas lines up a triple.
Back-to-back triples for the freshman.
It's on a mini 6-0 run by himself. Meanwhile, a 3-minute scoring drought for the Lions. Good backdoor feed. Patton lays it in with the reverse.
Yeah, Patton's got a different speed about him. He's got some quickness. Scored over 1,700 points in high school. A little heat check there by Thomas.
Godfrey to Foster. And now Clemson finding its stroke from beyond the arc.
I think this is the balance on offense that Brad Brownell's talking about, and it starts with their rim protection inside. With their size, you bring it in the paint, you better play off 2 feet and be ready to make a play. If you over-penetrate, they've got shot blockers at the rim, and it leads to transition going the other way.
Darkon King to Dakovicic. They wave it off. Fouled on the floor.
I think that's what North Alabama needs to do to get back in this, is they've got to look to drive it hard, try to play in the gaps, try to draw some help, kick, and then play out against a closeout, attack a closeout.
Here's Cornelius Williams averaging a double-double. Led the A-Sun with 11 double-doubles last year. Still just one shot attempt.
He's not a threat outside the paint. All his scoring comes inside like that. That's where he's a threat, on the glass with his length.
Foster, oh yeah! Money, coast to coast, and lays it off to Carter Welling.
Timeout called because of poor transition defense by North Alabama. What a drop-off. At the rim, Clemson.
Brad Brownell talked about it. He feels like, on the whole, this season, Debbie, the ACC is going to be much better from top to bottom.
I don't think there's any question. They've already shown it. With North Carolina has beaten Kansas. There's been some other really good non-conference wins. NC State with a big win over VCU. You know, Kansas is going to play Duke and NC State later on in the season, so there's plenty of opportunities for the ACC.
And then, of course, the ACC-SEC challenge looming, and everybody in the ACC feeling some type of way after the way it all went down last year. Opportunity to regain some respect. Wallin wide open. Boy, Foster is fun in the open court with a basketball.
You can just tell by the coaching staff's reaction to that three by North Alabama that that is not anywhere near the game plan nor anything that they worked on today in shoot-around.
They are 1 for 12 from distance. Foul on North Alabama.
And they've only been to the free throw line one time. That's good defense by Clemson. Look at the hustle by Buckner.
A dogged competitor, like his father, Greg Buckner, whose jersey hangs in the rafters here at Littlejohn Coliseum.
Greg Buckner, assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks right now. You can tell he's a coach's kid.
Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will be live from Atlanta for a massive top 25 showdown in college football, not just because of the ACC championship race, but because of the playoff implications for Georgia Tech. They have to win that game against Pitt to stay in the hunt. And of course, the next top 25 CFP revealed tomorrow night on ESPN.
It's a great time of year for sports, isn't it? Everything's going on right now. Good football, good hoops.
Cornelius Williams still just 2 shot attempts. King bumped, floated, no good. Wallin with a rebound. It's been a lot of one and done tonight for North Alabama.
Oh, good seal.
And a foul on King, his second, and the 5th on the team.
So much versatility with the bigs for Clemson, with their pick and pop ability, the duck in ability right here of Nick Davidson drawing a foul.
Well, they lost so much down low from last year. Ian Shefflin, of course, Victor Locken, Wiggins. Dallas Howell, catch and shoot, that's a 3.
He should be shooting. He's the one three-point threat for them that can make threes.
That is the first made three by North Alabama since the opening attempt of the game.
He's a 43% three-point shooter. He made 3 in the first half against ETSU. That was their last game. With range, the lefty. Last year, Dallas Howell only played in 3 games because he tore his ACL, and 7 months later, he's in summer workouts and rehab.
One of the elder statesmen on the floor tonight, along with Dylan Hunter, who left it short there. Tap out Buckner. So much newness for these two teams. Nice to have 2 vets. And you could throw RJ Godfrey into the mix there as well, because while he is technically a transfer, he's been here before. 2 years already under Brad Brownell, including a trip to the Elite Eight.
Sometimes you don't know how good you got it, right? I mean, certainly RJ had a great experience here at Clemson, helped take a team to an Elite Eight, spent a year at Georgia, went to the NCAA tournament. Now he's back. Considers Brad Brownell like a father figure to him.
There's a player down for North Alabama, and it is their leading scorer and rebounder, Cornelius Williams, who started gripping his ankle the minute he hit the hardwood.
Yeah, that doesn't look like that feels good.
Well, Cornelius Williams, Tony Pujols told us, had every opportunity to leave in the offseason with the season he had last year. An all-conference player, a guy who could be a conference player of the year type this season. But because of the success he had there last year, the culture under Tony Pujols, it was actually Cornelius Williams' mother who convinced him to stay in Florence, Alabama.
You're not going anywhere, son. You're staying here with Coach Pujols. He continues to develop him. He led the league in rebounding last year. He's long and athletic. He's going to have a good season. Let's hope that that ankle is not too bad. That hopefully just a quick tape job and he'll be ready to go.
We will keep you abreast of his status as the game unfolds. 90 seconds left in the first half, under 10 to shoot. Hunter knifing, rejected by Albritton. Like climbing the ladder there with that length.
Off the bench, Albritton does a great job of timing this. Dylan's probably wishing he had dunked that.
Sound on Saturday.
I think they have played a terrific game plan defensively. They protected inside out. They limited the touches of Cornelius Williams. They started doubling the block to begin the game. And then they moved the ball well on the offensive end. Those are all great qualities of a Brad Brownell team as they splash in another triple.
Wow, what
Great
a
balance.
shot by Wallin, who's been their best three-point shooter so far this year. Was 0 for 2 tonight until that bomb.
I mean, help and recover, high hands, protecting inside out.
Bacchus.
That's a tough 2.
Wrong take. He was their 6th man last year. And along with Cornelius Williams, one of 2 preseason all-conference players for North Alabama. 20-point game, less than 60 seconds to go in the opening half.
1-3-1 again by North Alabama. Played a couple of possessions of this early.
Open 3, Buckner. Got it. They have been red hot tonight from distance. Their 7th made 3. And shooting over 40% from downtown. Howell. Shot clock turned off. Final 12 seconds of the opening half.
I love how quickly they get up the floor into their transition offense. Look for a quick hitter, a quick one. If not, run your stuff.
Hunter with 2, step back 3. And the first half comes to a close with Clemson shooting nearly 50%.
Controlled the glass, controlled the tempo.
Cornelius Williams not out on the floor, nor is he on the bench at the moment. Went down with that ankle late in the first half. We will keep you posted if he returns. Carter Welling. That is pocket picked. Here's the Kovacic in a flash. Right hand won't go, and the tap back is good by Albritton, who's been excellent tonight off the bench. Really has not played much so far this season, averaging 3 minutes in 3 games played as Buckner's good off the window.
They go dribble drive offense. That possession and Buckner going right is highly efficient, much more efficient than going left in the mid-range.
Efficiency was the name of the game in the first half for Clemson. 50% from the floor, almost 40% from 3. And they forced a lot of one and dones on the defensive end.
Well, coming into the game, Buckner was 4 for 4 on the right side of the floor in his mid-range game. And 11 for 14 at the rim. Little dribble handoff action, and he turns a corner. Welling doing a nice job. Welling clearing out a little space inside.
Brad Brownell told us that sometimes Ace Buckner's a little too eager, but you'd rather have a guy that you have to slow down than somebody you have to convince to speed up. He just wants to be on the floor that badly after watching as a student of the game last year. The Kovacic good from distance. And he's in double figures with 10. Godfrey at 3.
Of energy and execution, and if you're just playing to the scoreboard, that is not going to be good enough for Brad Brownell. Up 20, and he had fire in his eyes. So he knows what's coming in league play. These guys don't.
Three of their 4 games played this year have been victories by 20+ points as Howell hits a 3. His second. They had that lone road test over the weekend against Georgetown. It was a game in which they led by 3 at the half. Back and forth affair in the second half, but Brad Brownell was displeased with the defensive effort over the final 20 minutes of that game.
Well, they fouled too much, right? Today. They fouled too much, and they allowed Georgetown to the line, and KJ Lewis himself shot 14 free throws.
The Kovacic, no, tracked down by Buckner.
You don't want to give a team like North Alabama any momentum or energy. They are picked to win their league. You know they're talented. You know they're well coached and well prepared.
Welling up against Brockis, fouled by Kovacic.
I mean, you have to call displacement at some point. When you put 2 hands on a guy and push him, that should be a foul. Even in the post with your back to the basket.
That's his first. Team's first.
Welling coming off 14 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, and a partridge in a pear tree against Georgetown on Saturday. Meanwhile, this Wednesday night, our women's basketball doubleheader is a very interesting one. In-state showdown, NC State and Coastal. Then Louisville hosts Morehead State. Louisville, of course, you saw yesterday, Debbie, right here at Little John Coliseum, picked up a nice win against Clemson.
Jeff Walls, 489 wins at the University of Louisville.
He's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, he's good. And you know what, Sean Poppy, the women's coach here, is getting it going as well. You're not going to be sleeping on Clemson, I can tell you that. They can shoot it, and they can play with great balance.
Already a better start shooting from distance this half than last half for North Alabama. They've cut it to 15. Welling fouled, and he's going back to the line. That time it was Albritton, his second.
Let me say NC State on the women's side has played incredibly tough schedule early. Tennessee, Southern Cal, and TCU, all ranked teams.
All three of those could very well be in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Westmore's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. They're going to be fine.
Zac Foster.
Let's see if Brad Brownell picks up a little full court pressure here, because you want to keep some energy and momentum with your team. Yeah, they're going to pick up full court man-to-man. I like it.
They've been outscored 11-5 over the opening 3.5 minutes of the second half. A lot of winners on this North Alabama roster, not just the guys who are back from last year who won a regular season championship, but everybody knew that Tony Pujol brought in either won a state championship in high school or a conference championship at their previous school, be it the JUCO level or someone else. It's the DNA that he's created in his culture in Florence, Alabama.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, they were just a few possessions short of winning the ASUN tournament last year, which would have put them in the NCAA. They did go and play in the NIT, which was their first appearance. And he's transitioned them from D2 to D1, so that's not easy, an easy process either.
Under 10 to shoot here. Howell jarred it loose. Foster with 5. Deep 3. And Wallin with a rebound.
Roll, replace.
Porter, scrappy, wins it back. 15 to shoot. Godfrey draws a foul. 3 straight trips to the foul line for Clemson. Godfrey will get 2 when we return.
I think it's what I said earlier about the total package. Like, it's basketball, it's pick and roll, it's ball screen coverage, it's all that. But there's much more to it. Sometimes in the landscape of where we are in college sports, we forget about that part. It's still important. These are still young men trying to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their lives. And it's not Pollyanna to say that. It's really important. If you have a young man that's this age, you know what I'm talking about.
12 points, 5 boards, 2 assists for Godfrey. Brad Brownell, a relationships first coach. And you hear that from everybody. Former players, current players, coaches around the league and beyond who know his program. And I think if you're reading between the lines in that quote by RJ Godfrey, that's really what he's getting at. Talking about the philosophies of life and how he may have taken that for granted his first 2 years on campus. Not this year. Six to shoot for North Alabama here. Still without Cornelius Williams. That's blocked by Godfrey. Here comes Porter. Pitch back, Foster. Porter knifing and draws a foul.
I mean, so good at attacking in transition, right? The lane opens up and he drives it hard to get to the rim. Clemson only shot 4 for 5 from the free throw line in the first half. They've already been there more in the first 5 minutes of this second half.
Maybe that was a point of emphasis for Brad Brownell at the halftime break. There is Cornelius Williams wearing street clothes and regular sneakers. Don't expect to see him at all the rest of the night. Had 4 points, 4 boards, their leading scorer and rebounder.
And you know what, Matt? I love that he's sitting up there with the coaches. I mean, at this point in the game, sit with the coaches, continue the IQ process of learning, understand the value that you have, but why you're important on the floor as well, through the coaches' eyes.
Again, this team picked to win the Atlantic Sun Conference. won the regular season last year, just 2 years after becoming a fully eligible Division I program. You talked about Tony Pujols sort of ushering this team into the Division I era, and in very short order has made them a perennial favorite in that conference.
Yeah, we had a great conversation with him this morning at shoot around. What a dedicated servant to the game. I mean, incredibly passionate. Grew up in the Miami area, talking about Shaky Rodriguez and all the wonderful guys through that coaching tree. I think this young man's going to start getting more playing time. Cortez Graham Howard, the 6'5" freshman. He's a true point guard with size.
We talked about Tony Pujols recruiting winners. Certainly Graham Howard fits that as Porter launches a three and knocks it in. Some full court pressure here from Clemson. Kovacic spins, draws contact of the shooting variety. It will go against the freshman Chase Thompson. Check that, it went against Butta Johnson. Porter with the three, which has fallen for Clemson all night tonight. They have been uber efficient from the floor. Would have loved to have seen a couple more of these threes go down Saturday.
Yeah, it would have helped
Capital
a lot.
One Arena.
Good ball movement. They got three sides, and they get the dunk. That's the way you execute. Take it late into the clock. Again, the balance for Clemson. It's not going to be one guy. It's going to be by committee. Keeping that 20-point lead here in the second half.
Godfrey now up to 14 on 6 of 7 from the floor. They've defended exceptionally well tonight, holding UNA under 40% from the floor. There's a foul.
One of the other habits is assisted basket. 61% coming into the game. They get a couple of sides. They get roll replaced. They get baseline penetration. They get middle penetration and a drop off for a dunk. Doesn't get any better than that. That's going to be one on film tomorrow that Coach Brownell's going to love showing his team.
That's one thing they've been very good at so far in the season, albeit just 5 games in, sharing the basketball, averaging over 17 assists per game. And you talked about scoring by committee, which hasn't necessarily been their MO over the last few years. They've had very established go-to scorers.
They didn't have anybody named in the preseason All-ACC team.
No, they did not. Foster. Rebound, Butta Johnson. The UAB transfer. Almost had it picked. Back out to Porter, 15 to shoot. Porter, floater, short. And the rebound corralled by Kadar Bodie. King of fadeaway.
That's a tough shot. Good defense, better offense.
Father Darrell King played at Kansas State. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, he can play.
How about that shot?
This young man has a lot of skill to unlock at Clemson. He can shoot it. He can initiate on the offensive end. He can keep the ball in front. Just when you get in a rhythm, you move the ball, you get good ball movement. You got to read the D and just stay with it. That early timeout definitely helped Clemson change their body language.
Brad Brownell's basically on the floor right now. Still coaching hard, up 20. 2 to shoot. And he'll like that defensive possession. A shot clock violation. It's been all Tigers tonight.
For Clemson, 18-15 here in the second. And that's why you see Brad Brownell continuing to emphasize the things that are important for not just finishing off the game here, but he sees the bigger vision about what's coming for them with the remainder of their schedule, including West Virginia next in the Charleston Classic. And then, of course, the 18-game ACC schedule.
The remainder of their non-conference slate is among the toughest, certainly in this conference and maybe nationally. We're talking BYU, Alabama. You mentioned West Virginia. They'll also have the winner of either Georgia or Xavier in that tournament. And these are some big games coming up down the road for Brad Brownell's team that, frankly, felt like they left a little to be desired in the second half against Georgetown.
I mean, that feels like an NCAA tournament schedule, 4 out of the 5 of those. Look, the last 5 years, Brad Brownell, 16 wins, 17, 23, 24, 27. The last 5 years, every year they've gotten a little bit better. That's impressive.
They are coming off the winningest 3-year period in program history. In many respects, this has been the golden era of Clemson men's basketball, and the man at the center of it all has been Brad Brownell. And since the 2017-18 season, they are 4th in the ACC in wins, behind blue blood programs. Here's Dylan Hunter. Buckner with 10. Davidson at 3. Offensive rebounds piling up in the second half for Clemson. Inside feed, Davidson fouled on the entry pass, and it'll stay here.
Much better post feed right there. Nice job of getting shaped up inside by Davidson.
Well, the other thing Brad Brownell's teams have done is exceed preseason polls. And his counterpart tonight, Tony Pujols, told us something funny about preseason polls, Debbie Antonelli. You want to know what he said?
Yeah, tell me. I know what he said.
He said, if you want to know what polls are good for, just ask a dog. I tend to agree, particularly in today's era of college basketball, where there's so many new players, transfers, freshmen, you name it. How on earth can you even pick 1 through 18?
I really don't know. I don't think you should pick 1 through 18. I think you should pick the top 5 that you think are going to be the best. And part of the reason why UNA is picked to win the preseason is because they got 10 guys got back from last year. Where do you hear of that anymore on a D1 roster? Right. Exactly.
That's a credit to Tony Pujols.
Yes, it is. That speaks directly to the character, because he told us it's not about NIL. They don't have any money. It's about relationships and the good stuff that still remains a very important part of college hoops and why we even play.
First points tonight for Dylan Hunter. King, open 3. Hits from the top of the key. And still North Alabama leading the second half scoring. +4 against the Tigers since the halftime break.
They made 2 threes in the first half. They've made 5 here in the second.
Bodie, left hand finishes.
Well, you knew Tony Pujols' team would come in here and compete and fight, and so did Brad Brownell. He's calling another timeout. That's 2 timeouts that he's been forced to call because his team is not in rhythm and not executing on the same page. Kennedy Dixon, what an incredible ambassador for the game. What a great ambassador for Clemson. I never heard anyone ever say a negative thing about Barbara, and to put into context what she did as a player, scoring over 3,100 points. Nobody on the men's side in the ACC has ever scored 3,000 points. The leading scorer in the history of the ACC is Tyler Hansbrough at North Carolina, 2,872 points. And I will add that our great friend and colleague, Randolph Childress, is on this list at number 18. He scored 2,200 points at Wake Forest in his career. So it just puts it in context. There's been a lot of great players on the women's side in the ACC, and it's long overdue. And longtime basketball coach and the most successful coach on the women's side here, Jim Davis, could not be more pleased and thrilled for Barbara and her family. She will be recognized posthumously in June in Knoxville.
After her playing career, spent 31 years on campus here at Clemson in the athletic department in various roles. Patton shuffle pass. Boy, that was nifty. Threading the needle to Tank Washington.
It's not just getting inside the Clemson defense, it's the cut behind the defense into his vision.
Double on R.J. Godfrey. This is out of the Brad Brownell timeout. Porter rims out of 3. They've been outscored 27-19 in the second half, with North Alabama shooting above 50%. In the midst of a 7-0 run of the Lions.
I'm sure there was something about toughness, grit, competitiveness discussed in that last timeout.
Godfrey blocked, and last touch by Tank Washington.
Watch Braylon Patton, shifty, gets the shift, the switch. Davidson having a hard time keeping him in front. Then it's just a great cut on the backside of the defense by Tank Washington.
You would never know that North Alabama is down 64-49 with the way they're playing and the way Tony Pujols continues to encourage competitiveness with 6 minutes and change left in this half. And there you go, a steal by Bodie. Coast to coast, left it off the rim, and Albritton hit the ground hard. He's a little slow to get up, but a great effort and drew a foul.
At 7 o'clock this morning, when we were here for shoot-around with Clemson, one of the things that Brad Brownell told us is the reason why he wanted to play this game. He knew they would be good. They had 10 players coming back. He knew they'd be prepared. He knew Tony Pujols would be competitive. And both coaches showed incredible respect for each other in our conversations with them separately. And this is what you get. You want to see some adversity in your non-conference schedule, and you're going to see plenty of that forward based on what we showed you that Coach Brownell has coming forward with his schedule. So you got to dig in right here. Building habits, Matt. It's all about the habits.
One of the things that stood out to me in particular in our conversation with Tony was he said, I know Brad Brownell's team is going to challenge us in ways that we will not be challenged all year by any other team. I hope we can do the same for him. Because ultimately, that's what these games are about, first 3 weeks of the season. And I'd say they have done that for Clemson here in the second half. Welling! Oh, yeah! Two-hand flush. He is now in double figures with 11.
Wow, look at that quickness. They go clear out. Patton one-on-one. This might get him going. This might wake him up a little. Full speed ahead.
Carter Welling did not play at all this summer. No basketball-related activities. Had a foot injury that required surgery. Didn't return to activity until September.
You know what, Matt? You get those older guys, and they don't need that preseason stuff. They just need to play when the lights come on. They don't want to be pushing tractors and rolling tires up a hill. They just want to ball when the time comes. Forget about all that. He's already done all that.
What's popping into my mind right now is the Allen Iverson quote. We're talking about practice.
Well, they're going to have a good practice tomorrow.
No doubt about that.
And they've played such a really good first 20 minutes. Now you got to figure out how to sustain it. But, you know, you got to give credit to North Alabama for challenging Clemson.
Welling, no. Rebound, All-Britain, saved it. And Welling's going to get tagged with a foul. No, check that. It's Wallin.
Well, Wallin does foul on this play. You know, I think there's a lot of positives for Brad Brownell. It's a 14-point game right here, and I like the full court press right here. I like them trying to keep the foot on the gas. Like, don't back off, and you can't play to the scoreboard in the non-conference.
Particularly knowing what you've got coming up down the pipe. We talked about it earlier in this half, but they've got the Charleston Classic starting Friday, November 21st. Wallin shuffle, extra pass, and it rims out. Wallin, right place, right time. That was great ball movement by the Tigers.
I actually think the possessions that Clemson has picked up full court man and have pressed have really gotten them going on the offensive end as well. Sometimes you can change the rhythm of your offense by the way you play defense. Caught on a switch. No problem for Welling. He sends it back. I'm telling you, I like the 6'10" bigs that Brad has. The ability to pick and pop, to guard in their ball screen coverage if they have to switch or extend on the perimeter. I think he's got a lot of good pieces that is only going to continue to get better. And I love a big that can shoot it like that. The stretchability, not just stretch and shoot threes, Matt, but have what I call that hybrid stretch, which is a player that has size that can make decisions with the basketball facing up, not just pick and pop.
Re-entry to Godfrey, doubled. Foster a three. Godfrey the rebound.
See, when Foster makes that pass and relocates, and he sees his man go double, he's got to be ready to catch and shoot or make a play as soon as the ball gets in his hands.
Welling fighting for the board, wins it back. Third opportunity for Clemson. 3 seconds. Porter a step back. Drew iron. Welling was fouled. He will get 2 shots. Clemson winning the battle of the boards in the game and particularly in the second half.
Boy, since 4th and 5th grade playing with my kids, and I know how much he loves the game. It's great to see a young man like that get an opportunity to live out his dream and continue to stay in the game.
Now, Tony Pujol could not have been more complimentary of him. This morning when we got a chance to talk with the North Alabama head coach. And this is a program that expects to win a lot of games this year. Not only were they picked to win the conference, but they returned 10 players from a season in which they were just 1 game away from dancing in March.
And Matt, think about how well they've played in the second half without Cornelius Williams, who's the anchor of everything that they do, offensively and defensively.
They have outscored Clemson 32-25 in the second half. Under 5 to shoot. Bacchus doubled, got out of it with the right hand and dropped it down. They trailed by as many as 23 in this game. And with their efforts in the second half, have had it hovering around 14.
Okay, this is a little thing, but when you make a shooter drop their hands, they usually don't make it. It's true.
That's an Antonelli nugget right there. Hunter hits his second 3 of the second half. He was 0 for 5 in the game prior to his last 2 made buckets.
I think Dylan Hunter plays his role so well. He's tremendous on the ball. He's got an excellent assist-turnover ratio. And what Brad Brownell wants from him most is to run the team. And you see him right here, bringing the guys together right now. He doesn't have to be his big brother Chase. But he can be Dylan and be very successful this season in leading this group. Nice inside-out passing, and this is the 7th consecutive year with a Hunter on the team.
What are they going to do when he
It's
graduates?
pretty cool. Of course, their mom was, Brandy Henderson, was a great player at the University of Georgia for Andy Landers. I'm sure if Brandy's not here, she's listening.
Has the best career assist-to-turnover ratio in Clemson history at the moment, 3-1. And he's played a lot of meaningful basketball. They really missed him last year in the postseason. Broke his hand in the ACC quarterfinal. Did not have him in the first round of the Big Dance.
Well, a big part of their story last year on their 27 wins and 18 in the league, which is a record.
Yes, both records.
Right? He started, they played Duke, they won 8 in a row, and then he got hurt. I think a broken hand. Was it a broken hand?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was instrumental to that run they made late last season, which included multiple top 10 wins. He's had a couple of nice threes here in the second half. Here he is with the basketball. Wallin pays off the extra pass.
That's good ball movement. There's some really good film for tomorrow. I think Clemson's first 20 minutes defensively was outstanding. They kept the ball out of the paint. They forced a lot of long threes. They kept UNA off the free throw line.
In the first half, UNA had 1 free throw attempt for a team that's lived at the line over the first 4 games of the season. And a 30-second timeout on the floor. We will step aside one last time from Clemson. Well, they decided not to take a break, so here we go. Final 50 seconds of the game here at Little John Coliseum. Clemson has dominated this game for large stretches. There was a spurt here in the second half where UNA cut the deficit to 14. But each time it's gotten to 14, Brad Brownell's group has extended the lead back out. And now R.J. Godfrey. King makes them both.
So Coach Brownell is sitting. Now you're going to see him go towards the baseline, and he says something to the official.
And I believe that was Lee Cassell on the baseline. Well, he's been chirping a little bit over there on the second half.
It's a veteran coach with a veteran official. I'm sure there must have been some conversation before.
Oh, he's been trying to light a fire in his guys the entire second half. It's something that he talked to us about. Sustained effort, sustained intensity for all 40 minutes.
Well, 45 points in the first half was good. They held North Alabama to 22 points. Lots of stuff to build on. West Virginia, Friday night. Next.
Hunter. Oh, yes! Upstairs! Zac Foster.
Wow, he gets up. He has had an impressive game, Zac Foster, the four-star recruit, the freshman, the true freshman.
He knew exactly where the baseline camera was after that alley-oop. And it's back to 20, and that will do it. Clemson with a dominant performance. Tony Pujols' team with an admirable effort and intensity in the second.